Hello and welcome to another episode of Between the Studs. I'm your host Mark. Today we have Grant and Daniel, two great fans of Lego, and today we have a pure...
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, exactly.
You too.
Congratulations. Yeah, we're all great fans of Lego here.
Yeah.
Pat ourselves on the back.
Exactly.
But today I'm actually excited because we have a purely discussion... this is podcast-heavy video. We are going to be talking about stuff. I'll throw a few pictures up maybe, but it's all about Lego themes that need to be brought back, that haven't been produced in a while. For whatever reason, we are screaming for their return. Mm-hmm. We are desperate for these things. Please, Lego, all the executives and higher-ups watching this video, please heed our words as we request...
Listen carefully. Hey, we've got some connections.
Actually, I think there's actually...
We know some people.
And the point of this is we're bringing back... not bringing back. We're suggesting themes that they should bring back and giving as many good reasons as possible. Yes. We're trying to pitch it. It's an argument.
Yes.
So I think we're all in agreement that we want these to return, but we're just trying to make it as convincing as possible.
Right.
So with that being
so I made like a PowerPoint with slides.
Yeah.
Did you do like a...
I
you
put
have like
mine
a
up last
poster
night.
board?
I got it last night. I made a
I've
PowerPoint
got my
slide.
statistics written down here.
Market analysis. We'll be going into
lots of exclamation
demographic
points.
exploration.
Exactly. Polls.
Reach.
Product feasibility.
Research.
So it's going to be a numbers heavy.
This is just... Actually, I think this is mostly gut feeling for most of us.
Exactly.
But, so who would like to go first? Shall I go? I always make someone else go first.
I'll go first.
Okay, start
Let's switch it up.
Okay, I'm going to start with one that I think makes a lot of sense from my financial standpoint, as well as longevity. This is a really iconic theme that LEGO has covered in the past, and more than once, but has not done in a long time. Since 2012, we have not had any SpongeBob SquarePants sets at all. And I think that's a real mistake because the ones that exist and are still available on Bricklink on the aftermarket are all over $200 per set.
Yeah.
And the figures are not crazy expensive, but it's like
They're up there.
$20-$30 for some decent, normal SpongeBob and Patrick and Squidward. And so these are characters that, they haven't been on air in a long time, but they've kind of re-emerged on places like Paramount Plus, where you can go watch all 10 seasons of SpongeBob?
Like
there's a lot of it.
There's some like spin-off shows and other stuff that are still
and the movie came out, obviously,
movies, and so SpongeBob is very much alive, especially in meme culture.
Oh yeah,
it
always has been.
It's insane. So I think that Lego needs to have its finger on the pulse of American worldwide culture and embrace SpongeBob. I think there could be problems with Nickelodeon and that sort of thing. Was it Nickelodeon that produced SpongeBob?
It was Nickelodeon.
It was.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what their licensing status is right now.
Why the gears are grinding? Why is it not working?
Exactly.
But so I think that if they had a range of sets starting at like $10, you should be able to get SpongeBob and Patrick in a $10 set riding a boat. Something really stupid.
Exactly.
And that way it's just a couple bucks for SpongeBob.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Then maybe you have Squidward and Sandy and any of the other characters in like a $30, $40 max. You're looking at a $150 set.
Like a Bikini Bottom,
or
the biggest set
Krusty Krab or the Chum Bucket. I don't think some of those sets
like
have
a Krusty Krab, like the size of the Quickie Mart or something would be great. Yeah,
they've had a lot of Krusty Krab ideas submissions that are like really fully fleshed out and like a really nice collector's piece model, and that's honestly what I would rather see at this point, because I'm not sure there's too much more room to grow in terms of like minifigure development.
Yeah,
I mean those characters are all very odd shapes,
and
so some of the minifigs end up being kind of cursed looking. But I think a more adult oriented thing would be my opinion on the way to go.
I think you could actually just dial it back to 2012 and the last iteration of figures. They're all pretty much what I would expect now. So you don't have to do much in development. Maybe just set design. Some of the buildings could be improved.
For sure.
But I think it would be an obvious success right off the bat. I mean, I wouldn't probably buy any because I'm not a huge SpongeBob fan, but I know people who are and would. And so, Well, and then I don't even need to ask you guys what you think because I think you guys agree. So we'll move right on to the next one.
On that one. Are we doing is there like a rating system on this one?
I think we're not even going to rank it or anything. We're just going to discuss it. And I think that SpongeBob makes a lot of sense. And actually, the only ranking I'm interested in is the comments because I want to hear what you guys think watching the video. If you think this is a good idea, bad idea, let us know. I think most people will be, calling with us, please.
I agree.
Give us some, mercy.
Exactly.
Mercy kill. Just give me a SpongeBob set.
I want a Krusty Krab.
So, moving down the row here, what do you got?
I'm gonna springboard off of you there, Mark, and stick with another Nickelodeon theme. The only other, well, not the only other, because they did Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
But Avatar was the very short-sold theme
You want to specify which Avatar.
Yeah, sorry, this is Avatar: The Last Airbender. Was the very short-sold theme that lost out to SpongeBob when basically Lego decided to do one Nickelodeon theme, and so they did two like kind of half-baked waves of both SpongeBob and Avatar. That I think was only there were 2 Avatar sets. And maybe only 2 or 3 original SpongeBob sets.
Yeah, just a handful.
To see which one sold better. Evidently, SpongeBob won out, and so they produced, I think, another like 1 or 2 waves after that.
Yeah, there was actually like probably
there's like 10. I want to say 10 sets that they came out with.
2 or 3 sets a year until about 2012.
There were some odd later ones. So Avatar, we only ever got the 2 sets, but Avatar has come back in a major way. When it came back on Netflix, gosh, I don't know, what was it? 3 years ago?
I would say 2020.
Maybe longer ago than that. I don't know.
I've been 2019.
20 or 2021.
During lockdown and stuff.
Yeah.
Came back in a major way. They've got, I believe, another show and maybe even a movie in the works for Avatar: The Last Airbender. So there'll be no shortage of upcoming reasons that they could produce toy lines to go along with it. So again, I would love to see, this would be another one that would lend itself well to a good wave of playset style sets. Maybe you get some more air temples, maybe you get some more Fire Nation ships, or who knows, whatever the new movies entail. Appa, I think, is a huge missed opportunity.
Like a $50 set, you know?
Yep.
Perfect. So any number of things they could do. Minifigures, I think, would be more what people's looking forward to.
Vast improvement.
Because they did look kind of like a little bit cursed in the first one.
They were a little
Clone
cursed.
Wars
They're
very
cool.
Clone
They're
Wars.
very Clone Wars. Very
so,
Clone Wars. That's a good.
And get some more beloved characters. Get Uncle Iroh in there.
Exactly. That'd be good.
A fresh mold for
Toph.
Momo. Toph.
Yep.
So. Any number of things they could do with that, so I think lots of people would be interested in seeing that make a comeback.
Yeah,
I would buy all of those.
Yeah,
and I love the Last Airbender. It's a great show. I haven't seen Korra, but I've heard it's good as well. So yeah,
Korra's worth watching.
Yeah, and they have like you said, show, movie projects, animated projects.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of Avatar in the next few years, and it would make total sense to have stuff relevant in their catalog, catching this wave of success.
That people are nostalgic for it.
Yeah. Exactly.
And 2 bangers of themes that need to be brought back. Yeah, Lego, I hope all the executives are paying attention, because we're doing their work for them.
Really detailed research.
What do we got here, Grant? What's your call
I hope
back?
to have a third banger theme.
Okay.
Been on a lot. That's very, very good success, and they've made a couple little sets that are related to it.
Great success?
I would say it has great success.
Okay.
Great success.
It was really popular, and then they rebooted it already. They should reboot it again. It's Pirates. I know a lot of people who would really appreciate some new pirate sets with like a line of like personalized minifigures, not just like Barracuda Bay where you have one thing. You know.
Yeah.
You could do all sorts of stuff with that. Like they did the forts, they did the ships, they had all sorts of variety of
Red
stuff.
coats, blue coats.
Just bring it back, make it like a Ninjago Legacy thing where it's just better built sets, like better built ships and stuff. Something like the Viking Serpent set.
Yeah.
Something like that scale. I think that'd be really nice, and a lot of people who would like that.
Yeah, like you said, Barracuda Bay was kind of a taste of that, but not enough.
Exactly.
And it also proved that they can absolutely knock it out of the park. So it's like just
imagine like a $30-$40 set in that that design.
Yeah. A 6 to 10 set wave. You know.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
That'd be awesome.
At the time of the recording of this video, there's still no substantiation to the rumor for the El Dorado Fortress.
Yes.
But if that does end up coming true, that could be
it's another big step.
Something substantial for Pirates fans.
That should be the crowning achievement of the wave, right?
That
should be the 150-ish set. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That'd be enjoyable.
I think that would make total financial success.
I might even buy a couple of the sets. I'm not opposed to Pirates.
I know Jacob would buy a bunch.
Oh, Jacob would love it.
I'd probably buy a couple of especially like a $30 or $40 set that has some cool figures.
Yeah. Yeah. And then use it for parts 2 set review.
Great pieces.
Dump it in your pick.
A lot of reasons why Pirates would be successful. We've seen pretty significant success from Classic Castle and Classic Space getting a couple sets.
Yes.
Not a full wave.
Lion Knights.
But enough to justify saying the theme is enough return. That's why Classic Castle is not on this list, because I think that there's enough to justify. It's like it's already kind of here. You go by the shields and figures.
And we've actually, if we had filmed this video a year ago, there would be a lot of themes that I would say within the last year have made a good comeback in a way that a lot of people were waiting for a long time. I mean, Indiana Jones came back. Lord of the Rings sort of came back in a way that satisfied most people. We got the 90th anniversary castle. We got the Galaxy Explorer. So Vikings was another one I had written down, but even that we got at least the one creator set.
A little taste of it,
ship.
and it's enough to keep us going.
And I think it's going to be this Christmas is when Target is going to be doing their special thing again, and there was a set that won that contest that was like a Viking
village.
Yeah.
So we may be getting even some more of that in the near future.
Yeah. A lot of classic themes, but pirates obviously makes sense.
Yeah.
And they really have avoided pirates since Berkeley Bay.
And it's so broad, too. It's not just one thing. You can do a lot of stuff with
There's like 6 sub-themes in pirates
exactly.
that they could cover.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you could branch out so much.
Great stuff, Good stuff. I think total bangers all across the board.
Let's make it 4.
Let's make it 4 in a row. All right, I've got my next one here. This is kind of in the same vein as SpongeBob, but ScoobyDoo. They made it in one wave in 2015, 8 years ago. Time flies. I feel old. And but no, ScoobyDoo, good wave. It did fine when it first came out, and just over the years, it's like, oh wow, that's creeping up. It's creeping up. Velma shot up because she's in one big expensive set.
Yeah.
And now most of the other characters are $30 each. Scooby-Doo's a little, and Shaggy are a little more affordable. You get them more sets.
They're more common.
But Fred and Daphne, they're both expensive now, so it's. And I think that scary themes in general are, underappreciated in Lego. They avoid it for a reason, but there are a lot of fans that would like to see that. Fans of Hocus Pocus, fans of Monster Fighters. They all, Scooby-Doo's right in that vein, that wheelhouse.
Exactly.
And, all the sets are $200 plus. Or some of the smaller ones, like the biplane's a little cheaper.
Yeah,
but
Mystery Machine's the same size, and it's like $200-something.
Yeah,
and there's no reason Velma or any one member of the gang should be as expensive as she is.
Right.
I mean, there's no reason they couldn't have had the Mystery Machine have all of those minifigures. I mean, you got the Ghostbusters Ecto-1, the small minifigure scale one, and I believe it still came with all 4.
All 4.
Because they're the crew, they're the gang, right?
Exactly.
You need all of them.
So
there's no reason she should have been exclusive.
It's good. It's good marketing if you think about it when it comes out.
Yeah. There should be a $50 set with the gang and the Mystery Machine.
Yes.
And instead of trying to sell a $200 version of that set to a family, and they're like, the Mystery Machine is that much in the box.
Right.
And where's Velma? There's only has Fred and Shaggy in there. It's like,
that makes sense.
So Scooby-Doo, 4 or 5 sets, not a huge wave, but easy
Have
money.
every one of the base characters you could.
And there's no shortage of other stories to spin off. Every episode was a different mystery, so they already hit some of the more memorable ones. You got the Lighthouse Keeper and the
Swamp Guy,
the Swamp Guy. So I'm sure there are more iconic episodes they could make small play sets based off.
Scooby-Doo has been redone to death in TV and movies, and so you could just do whatever you wanted and have a great time. So, another one that would, please, obviously Lego, you should be doing this already.
Come on.
Let's
go. Come on.
Okay. So Daniel, what's your next recommendation for all the Lego producers watching?
Man. So this is where it basically starts to just merge with my list of favorite themes at this point.
Hey, that's why we're here.
You had one test, and now it's just off the rails.
I'm gonna go with Classic Ninja next. So Grant can just put on his earmuffs for this one because Ninjago is just not cutting the mustard for me, man. Original waves of Ninjago, right? They had nice temples and Zen gardens and stuff.
Yeah, it was pretty grounded.
And then it started to get a little too zany. We started having that was actually no pun intended, but I'll claim it. We started to get a little wacky with submarines and like
D&D
otherworldly D&D. Then we're going like
space.
Ready Player One style into the digital world, and so. It's
no longer about ninjas, Grant, but it sells.
It was Lego's way of putting a bunch of distinct themes that they wanted to do on their own into this kind of protective bubble of something they know would sell by pairing it with the TV show and with Ninjago and these beloved characters, which is fine. But I would love to see more IPs that Lego's confident enough to stand alone. And I see why maybe they're not confident enough with recent releases of such stellar themes as Hidden Side and Dreams. I still have some hope for.
A glimmer, just a little twinkle.
But anyway, back to the original point, which is Classic Ninja.
Those were awesome.
Very underrated sets.
I like those sets.
Underappreciated, I think, in their time, but a lot of people are coming around on them now. You just don't see them very often. So I would love to see a more traditional look. At
samurai
kind
ninja,
of ninja.
That's why I like getting a lot of the Ninjago temples, is because they're so simple.
They're
None
grounded.
of them are too crazy.
When maybe when Ninjago inevitably comes to an end, but don't tell Grant.
No, Ninjago's never gonna end, guys.
It'll never end. It's here forever. But when it does,
no.
Emotional roller coaster.
Yep. No, I think that's a good it's like Ninjago has been such a successful and staple element of Lego. It has kind of sucked the air out of a lot of other possibilities that we would like to see. So maybe one day, however many years, we don't know, that when Ninjago finally does wrap up, or at least pauses, we can get some other themes that are in the same vein. I mean, we're starting to see a little bit with the Botanical series, sneaking its foot in the door of Zen Gardens with some stuff, with some leaks that we've seen. But
that one's going to be interesting.
It's not enough, though. I think you're right. So I want to see some grounded ninja and samurai figures. So,
yes.
Or even ancient Chinese dynasties and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think those would be cool too. Same thing with Monkey Kid. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Kind of factions.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, what's your next one, Grant? What's round 2 for Grant?
A lot of people will agree with me on this. I'm not a big fan.
Presumptive.
Wow.
Well, let's see what it is.
Wow. It's a Bionicle. So I've never been a big Bionicle fan. I was actually a Hero Factory kid growing up.
I thought Garrett went home for the day.
He's still here.
Yeah, he'll kill me if he hears this. That I'm not actually a big Bionicle fan. But I would love to see a comeback for it, because I know they did a little bit of a reboot and it didn't go too well. I think some newly designed sets, maybe change up a little bit of the joint pieces a little bit, and I think that would make it look a lot nicer.
Yeah, more secure joints.
Exactly, and I think people would just love a lot of remakes of some of the ones.
Yeah.
I think it could go two ways, though. Like, some people would really like it, and some people would really hate it, because they want the originals to stay like the originals. They don't want anything to get in the way. But I think it would be good to see some remakes of some of those.
Yeah, I think if they get the lore right, and if they also get the parts right, then you can have a really potent combination of nostalgia and innovation.
Exactly.
And make it great.
And they already did with the gift with purchase thing. So that's another one where it's like Galaxy Explorer. You can do Classic Space off of that.
Yep.
Line Knight's Castle, you can do Classic Castle off of that.
There's a lot of Bionicle. You could revive any of the Titans or the specific Toa that appeared.
Yeah.
I know that Garrett, his passion for Bionicle has really infected me a little bit, and I've gotten some of the old Bionicle sets, and I would love to see a very retro, nostalgic take on that with newer joint pieces like we're seeing in the Dream sets.
Exactly.
You could make a system hybrid Bionicles with some cool masks and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd actually buy those.
Yeah,
and I'm not and so would the 150,000 people who voted for Bionicle in the theme thing.
Yep, I remember that.
So it's there's a lot of Bionicle fans. If they can actually win their hearts with something besides a bunkle, they'll get
bunkle or the gift with purchase.
Yeah. And how long has it been since they stopped doing Bionicle? Was it 15 years?
2015, 16 would have been the last few years. So it's been
because 08 was when the first one
6-7 years. Yeah.
About as long as ScoobyDoo.
Yeah. Also, most Bionicles are now really starting to climb up in price too.
A lot of them.
Original Wave Bionicles are now $40, $50 for a good condition one. So they used to be a dime a dozen.
Yeah,
now
for those type of sets, that's expensive.
Yeah.
So.
Good point there, Grant.
It is hard with things like that, because Lego obviously did a very successful job making something with a lore and a story to it that people are very passionate about. But much like with Star Wars, what that leads to is people become very picky and dedicated to that, and they think that they know what's right and what's wrong when you put something new out, and so it can be very hard to appease those fans. Now with Star Wars, obviously they just bulldoze right through it anyway, but
X-Wing.
But as far as things like Bionicle, if they do something that the fans deem is not good and they don't buy it, then it reflects poorly in the sales, and so then Lego is disincentivized to make future attempts at doing
that. That happened with Gen 2 is that somehow it didn't capture the imagination of the old fans, and it didn't sell well, and Lego's we're done. And so they really slammed the door on that, and so maybe if that bridge was to be formed again, we'll see.
Which puts consumers in a hard spot. It's you want to support it so that they get more of it, but you don't want to buy something if it's not what you want.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. So a lot of ifs, but I think that there's definitely a desire for that.
For sure.
As impossible as it might be.
There's a lot of passion for it, for sure.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, we're moving right through these. I think we're gonna do 3-ish. If we have a fourth or even honorable mentions we want to mention too, we'll do that as well. I think I might as well bring up one of my honorable mentions that I have written down. I think you had this one as one of yours too, Grant, was Power Miners or Rock Raiders, because kids who are buying Lego, they yearn for the mines. Sorry, I had to say. And no. Anyway, it's a cool concept. You got these crystals, you got this subterranean, you got rock monsters, you got cool vehicles, drilling vehicles. It's a fun thing. You're dying over here. Don't drink the water after a lap.
I'm good.
Anyway, so the problem is, and I'll say this about some of the other themes that I'm going to bring up here too, is that Lego is, it's a pacifist company. They're trying to lean into more, very appropriate themes. They're not trying to go back into a heavy war-like stuff.
Right.
One of the reasons I don't think X of War will ever come back is because it was very much do or die. They don't. They want to just have a fun adventure. Or fantasy. They want to get it away from war-like stuff.
Right.
And power miners were exploiting a planet and possibly damaging ecosystems of rock monsters. So PC, no, it is not.
Mining and extracting things from the earth is also a touchy subject.
Coal mining is out of fashion. It's it's just that kind of stuff. I think that
10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's going to be trending anytime soon. So
maybe we could get like an epic spin-off where instead of mining things out of the earth, they're mining like
biofuel,
like wind farms,
solar
panel farms,
mining solar energy.
Solar miners.
Doesn't have the same ring. Solar panel installation crew doesn't have the same.
That's something that sell really well.
Vestas wind turbine installation.
Well, they've done some sets like that, and I appreciate those sets. But
I could see a cool. I could see a cool space. I mean, they were on other planets anyway, but like a space faction that's like mining out like asteroids or something.
Yeah, that would make a lot more sense.
That's a little more fantasy.
There's no life there. That makes more sense. But you gotta have the rock.
Yeah.
So I digress. Anyway, my third official recommendation or wish for a new revived theme would be the fantasy era and kind of / elves, because fantasy stuff I think Lego can lean into more. They've done quite a bit. I mean, Dreams is actually a good step in that direction. I think Ninjago is very fanciful.
The mini dolls in the same set as the minifigures.
I'm getting to that.
Multiverse.
So here's the thing. I think that if you look at Bricklink's sale history in the past few years, fantasy era sets in particular, they're all over $200-300. You can get a troll battle wheel for starting at $300.
Oh my god.
That was a $30-40 set back when it first released, so it's several hundred times, more than So
part of that could be attributed to being undersold when it came out.
Yeah,
I think people didn't embrace fantasy era as much when it started.
They had 2.5 waves, so normally if a wave doesn't do great,
Season 3 of Ninjago is a good example of that, I think.
Yeah.
It didn't do too well.
Well, because prior to that, had every sub-theme of Castle, but I won't say based in history completely, but, they didn't have living skeleton warriors or trolls. Was that the first one to truly
It was very fanciful,
fantasy elements?
And evil wizard was a little bit new.
Wizards.
Dragons, totally new. First time, big dragons. The dragon masters, of course, but they're smaller, more reduced. So there was a lot more fantasy elements. And then orcs, completely new. Dwarves, completely new. So they were really exploring new grounds with that. I would say, as far as how well they did at the time, the typical set release schedule that I remember was you get a wave of about 6 to 10 sets, and if it does well, they'll have a Christmas special at the end of the year that's a $100, $200 set, and Fantasy Era got a couple of those. Compared to Kingdoms, which got one.
Right.
So it's it did well for its time in the castle genre. What I'm trying to lean into.
One of those different factions was its own wave. I'm pretty sure the skeleton one was all first, and then did they do all the trolls?
They did trolls and orcs, and then they did dwarves, I think kind of in conjunction with those, but they also kept the knights and skeletons kind of in memory.
Right.
So it was all one unified universe. The part I'm trying to lean into is the fantasy stuff. So that's why I mentioned elves.
Yeah.
Dragons are cool. And Ninjago is the only producer of Lego dragons right now. Yeah. And they do a great job. But I also want to see kind of a European version of this too. And I
more
think
realistic dragons, I think.
Elves and Fantasy Era did some
realistic in terms of more traditional dragons.
Really based in realism,
Yeah, ones that we can see
authentic, true to life dragons.
I want to see Lego make their own more affordable version of Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
And so you have orcs, elves, dwarves, and all these fun characters. Have it appeal to both boys and girls. Use regular minifigures that are nicely customized and modified, cool headgear. And I can't see that not doing well. You know what I'm saying? It's we see the Orc Warrior and the Falconer and the CMFs.
Yeah.
They're $20 each now.
Yeah,
so it's
any castle figure.
You do one little orc camp, and that's the most popular set ever. There's people who want to army build this stuff, and they want to have a
that
ball.
Would be fantastic.
I feel the only issue with that would be the marketing and getting it out to people.
Hey, you make a good set.
You gotta make it unique.
Blacksmith shop.
Yep.
Good set.
Exactly.
Everything is that quality.
Yep.
You won't have a problem selling it.
That's a recurring theme. Is like you make we're saying like you make one of this set, but you can make a whole theme of it.
Exactly.
A whole line, but there's
like
one
pirates.
set.
Like pirates.
They'll do one-offs. They'll do gift with purchases, but they won't commit to a wave.
Mm-hmm.
It's telling you something. Yeah.
Well, there must be some math to it that I don't understand, but to me that seems like another.
I think they're
banger.
testing. They're testing how well it would sell based off of just one set. Which can be good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I don't know how they're getting that information from a gift with purchase, but we'll find
exactly.
out. So they must know better.
Maybe they just don't want to bring back Bionicle.
Yeah. They got burned on Bionicle, so
Yeah.
we'll have to take a lot of convincing to get them back. But
yeah.
All right, so Daniel, what's your third, or you want to mention your honorable mentions first?
No, I'll do my third official answer. So the next one that I want to cover is Adventurers.
Mm-hmm.
This is one that comes back a lot. If you follow certain people on social media, people are constantly doing like modern style redesigns of classic Adventurers sets. More fleshed out pyramids and things.
Desert
all sorts
exploration,
mostly focused on the desert theme. We probably wouldn't see a return of like Dino Island, but desert or jungle or maybe even some Orient Expedition. I think would be a very welcome comeback, or even finding a potential fourth, or I guess not fourth, I guess it'd be fifth, but another kind of area of the world that's often associated with exploration and mystery and temples and traps and intrigue and things like that. So taking inspiration from things like Indiana Jones or other popular movie or video game series that feature those same kind of explorers and things, I think could be a great way to bring back another sub-theme for that, but bringing back the same beloved characters of Johnny Thunder and Gale Storm and I'm blanking on the professor's name. Dr. Kilroy, thank you. Because people still know who those characters are. They still show up in video games and things for crying out loud. So they're still
Easter eggs all
very
the time.
much
there's one that
in the
in
Lego
Junction
culture.
Gardens, I think, was one for Johnny Thunder.
All the time. So
Yeah.
people are still aware of this kind of stuff. So it would be very easy to tack on an extra kind of official sub theme, I think, to Adventurers.
Yeah, the problem I see with that, Daniel, is so
yeah, I see where this is going.
I think we can address the elephant in the room.
It's the same
It's the
reason.
same issue with Ninja.
Yeah.
To be honest.
And Power Miners, the children yearning for the mines.
Yeah.
It has a flair of imperialism and colonialism and exploiting natural
taking
environments
relics from other
like
cultures.
the British Museum is not a.
They're not doing
so they still got all their stuff, but there's a lot of requests to get it back. So that's the problem I see with Johnny Thunder is they were going out and finding
that likely
this
is why
treasure.
they haven't already.
Yeah. And so nowadays, I just feel like, unfortunately, it's a different environment. We are more aware of a lot of different discussions being had, and so it's. I don't think it would, I think it would sell well because we love these characters. Yeah. But in order to make them work in a modern setting, we might have to change up why they're out there doing things. So unfortunately, so. But that's
even the argument it belongs in a museum is not such a great argument anymore.
Indiana Jones is not PC either. Think about it. So they have to kind of put a spin on things. Like he's fighting Nazis. He's not stealing treasure from ancient ruins.
We make it really worse to just slightly worse.
Yeah, exactly.
Slightly better.
You got to find a way to make it make sense now.
Yeah.
So Oh yeah, fun stuff. But So and then you had one more.
Round off. Yeah, I'll do an honorable mention. I was thinking about saying. Yeah. It's two personal picks from my honorable mention and my third pick. The honorable mention would be Cars, just because I think they did good with the first couple waves, but like one big Flo's Cafe or Flo's Diner, that would be great. Just one set. We
actually need that set again.
Yeah, we don't need. I don't need a wave or anything. Just one Flo's Cafe or just even like they did the Brick Built series of stuff, like the Brick Built McQueen, like the RV or something, from stuff like that, simple stuff like that. But my third pick. Another personal pick is something like Galaxy Squad and Conquest related, because those were two ones I grew up on. I knew a lot of kids liked it too.
Yeah, they were popular.
Anything alien space related, but that's not classic space, but just
a little more fantasy fun.
Exactly.
Space.
Yeah, it's tough to make
just
it not
any space theme. Honestly, would be welcome.
Exactly.
We haven't had anything since.
It all falls in the category
as a general space theme.
Yeah, like Mars Mission, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Just really really fantasy space stuff. I think would be really good to see make a comeback. Because there are a lot of sets I think kids miss out in that theme when they were little. I think people would still want them nowadays.
A lot of those have gone up quite a bit.
Yes,
and that kind of suggests there's a bit of a not only nostalgia but an interest.
Certain Galaxy Squad sets are pretty expensive actually. It's weird.
Mars Mission. They're not as cheap as they used to be.
Space Police, same thing.
Space Police.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and that's I think Star Wars could be contributing to that because they're really they wouldn't want to touch the golden goose that is Star Wars.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
are they going to do other space stuff and annoy the Star Wars executives?
Yeah,
maybe
right.
not, but yeah. So that's the one problem I can see with
Yeah.
that. But yeah, I think that those would sell well. I would be buying them for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Cool space stuff. I mean, when you get those cool space fantasy CMFs, they're usually pretty popular.
Yep.
Their price starts to go up a little bit. So
And they even
Especially
made
when they're doing callbacks to
right,
vintage
and
themes.
yeah, they even made the one that was basically just an Alien Conquest figure. They made a CMF that was just basically that.
and like the Blacktron
And
Bounty
they
Hunter.
did
Yep, same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah.
So-
Stuff with minifigures like that in a sense, I think would be great.
Yeah.
So.
And one other honorable mention I want to mention, if you're done with your space
all
discussion, Grant, was anything Greek and Roman.
Ah.
Now, because this is not something they've done before, except for CMFs, this isn't a revival. I can't have it on my list, but anything Greek and Roman, please. Like, seriously.
Yeah, I think the closest thing they made was the Atlantis Temple.
And the reason they're not doing that is
Yeah.
because Greeks and Romans really just wrote about who they were conquering.
Yeah,
and that's,
exactly.
and that's
That's not
obviously
PC at all.
That is definitely not PC. The Colosseum is beautiful, but
At the
people
same time,
died
I
in
feel
there.
like it's
you know?
far enough removed from
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
that stuff
It was
that I think
2,000
would
years
be-
ago,
I
so-
mean, it's like
Yeah.
Castle, yeah. People in medieval times were doing some real
They
bad
had,
stuff.
They had a rough life.
But
Yeah.
that
I
doesn't
was-
stop them from. I mean, even in the 90th anniversary castle, there was a dungeon with a skeleton in it.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
you know, there was dark stuff going on.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's always that like edge of making it acceptable for a modern audience, but at the same time, it's like some of those adventures and wars even they're interesting, and so it's like the battles and stuff is fun.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
yeah. Tough.
Now, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, that's it.
Oh, I was just gonna say my way that I want to round it out is with
Yes.
my last sort of theme.
Mhm.
This is not, I would say, an especially well-beloved theme, but I think it would be one way to bring back a lot of these themes at the same time
Mhm.
in one wave that LEGO could do, and that is via time cruisers / time twisters.
Mhm.
If they did a time-traveling duo,
Multiverse.
you know, bring
Or crew,
back
yeah.
bring back Timmy Timebuster and Professor what's his name,
Yeah.
and
what was his name? Oh.
you could have them travel through a whole wave of sets. There could be one set that's Johnny Thunder. There could be one set that's classic Ninja. There could be one set that's fantasy era castle. You know, they could be traveling through all these points of times that represent old Lego themes. And the time cruisers, I actually probably wasted one of my votes during the 90th anniversary thing on voting for it, because that's a way that I could have seen them doing something like that. Is
Yeah.
is having this time traveling duo visit a lot of these old kind of Lego themes.
That would be really cool. Dan. I didn't think about the unifying factor that could have for a lot of these old themes that we want to see. So that's awesome. And
It's not the time cruisers in the way we think of it. That's just a bunch of random pieces
Hodgepodge.
Yeah, it's just every
thrown
piece
together,
possible.
but something a little more cohesive. But have those figures visiting these various
Right.
scenes.
yeah.
Covers best of both worlds, literally.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think if Dreams has taught us anything so far, it's
That's
that they
close,
have the
yeah.
potential to
Yeah.
design really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Very close.
So
They did go on future adventures in different spots.
maybe Dreams will become more time centric
Yeah.
in the future. We'll see.
Exactly.
It would just be like Dr. Oz and Albert going on
Right.
adventures.
Yeah.
I could watch that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
I'm surprised you remember their names. I've watched the show and I pretty much already forgot most.
Have
of
you
it.
watched through the whole show though?
I
or-
think so. I
Okay,
think I
okay.
did catch up. Yeah.
I did a
Check
review with
Netflix.
Garrett and Randy a little while ago.
Yeah.
I'll have to link that now that I mentioned it. But so some amazing Lego themes that they've covered in the past that would make pretty obvious choices for a reboot or revisiting, even in a small form. The more the merrier, though.
Right.
What do you guys think in the comments? Are our suggestions, absolute bangers like we've been saying, or are we just making up
We're
stuff?
just casuals.
Are we
Let
just
us know.
are we
Let us
nostalgic crabby fans who just miss our childhood? Is
Yeah.
that what's
Probably,
going on?
Probably, yeah.
To some extent, maybe.
Yeah.
My disclaimer with all of this is we're not in the Lego boardrooms, right? We don't
No.
know what the numbers are. We assume that anything they do is for a good reason, and they've got a lot more information than we do. But in our ideal world, this is, I think,
If you're in the Lego
what we
group
would like
watching
to
this,
see.
pay attention.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I mean, some of this that's the truth. They know more about
exactly.
what they have way more research.
We're not designers. Yeah.
But we do see some sales examples on Bricklink.
Numbers
You
don't lie.
We can look at some of the numbers, and there is a bit of. Most of these have gone up quite a bit and are too expensive now for most people to collect. So.
Yeah.
I think there's some reasoning there, but yeah, thank you guys so much for sharing your
thank you
thoughts
for
and
having us,
opinions.
Mark.
Great discussion, really enjoyed it, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it too. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We really appreciate that. It helps the video reach more people. We'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.
Toodles.
Oh, is that your catchphrase now? That's terrible.
Makes us uncomfortable at the end. All
I
right,
hate that.
they're gonna clench up after hearing that one.
Toodles.
Toodles.